Welcome back, everybody. It's finally another episode. Thanks for still supporting us. This episode is going to be weird special because we're going to deal with the engine. I'm going to take it all apart, see what's worn out and damaged. Hopefully nothing, but could be. So we're going to see and then clean everything, put it back together, and then I just think we just can hope that it will run. So stay with me and then enjoy. What we got here is the Mercedes-Benz OM617. It's a straight 5, it's a diesel engine. It should be powerful and it should be very robust, but you know, after 30 years it's gonna be a little worn out, so we're gonna check that today. So let's start taking it apart. Now the cylinder head is finally off and we can take our first look at the pistons, which look not too bad. I don't see any oil or any metal flakes. That shouldn't be there. It looks black. It looks black from the suit, but other than that I think it's pretty good. I'm gonna clean it up so we can take a better look. Now here we have the cylinder head. Looks pretty dirty right now. We're gonna clean that up. And then we're gonna take out all the valves. I already did one. It's gonna look like this. It also looks pretty good. There's no damage on it or anything else than just soot. But we'll see what the rest of it looks like. Let's take a look on the bottom side of the cylinder head. We can see 2 valves per cylinder. That's 5 cylinders, 10 valves, or we took 1 out, so 9 valves. And we can see where the injector sits, that's right there. That's the normal sound here in a workshop. Every time you want to talk, somebody else is being loud. We have, as we said, 2 valves per cylinder. That's of course because we need 1 valve where air comes in and then the other where the burnt gas air mix goes out. That's why there's 2. One quick thing to notice here is when you look really close, the intake valve is bigger than the exhaust valve. The exhaust valve can be smaller because the pressure the air or air gas mix is pushed out is so much higher because the pressure in the cylinder is higher when it fires. That's why the valve can be smaller or is smaller than the intake valve. So guys, we turned over the engine. Now the oil pan is facing upwards. It looks pretty dirty. We're gonna take off all the bolts and take off the oil pan, make it clean. Looks what it looks like. Here we have one of the pistons. It looks good. It looks a little worn, yes, but there's no crack, there's no you know, visual damage to it. That's really good. I'm gonna clean all of those up, and then we'll see. I guess we order the piston rings just to be sure, and but I think we can reuse the pistons definitely. They look pretty good. All right, it's onto the piston rings. We have a new set for each piston, and I already did 4 out of 5, so it's one more to go. Here's our last piston. It's piston number 5. So yeah, let's clean that up and then take those 3 out, put the new 3 in. Let's talk about the top of the piston. You can see here the marks for the valves, intake and exhaust. And then right here, this hole is for the injector we talked about earlier. It injects the diesel right through those marks here. And then if you look really close, there's an arrow and it says "vorn," which means front. So you know which way to put in the piston in the cylinder. As you can see, there's always 3 for 1 piston. The number A, the lowest one, is for the oil, so it helps us bring in all the rest of the oil that's on the side of the piston to bring that back down when the piston goes down. And then B and C, the upper 2, are for the compression, so we don't lose compression. That's above here. We don't lose compression through the gap between the piston and the cylinder wall. Now with the 3 new piston rings in, it's really important to not have them like this and all 3 gaps on top of each other, but turn them by 120 degrees each. So let's do that. This goes there, and then the second one goes there, and then the left one, the lower one, is facing us. With all the piston rings in place and the bearings cleaned up and oiled, we can put the crankshaft back in and tighten the screws. Alright, 3 pistons are in, 2 are missing. Here's number 4. And of course we keep the front mark in mind, so everybody's facing front. Let's put that in. To get the piston rings tight enough to fit the piston into the cylinder, I use this compressor and the wooden end of a hammer. Also here it's important to cover every surface with oil so there's no grind. Then tighten all the screws and give the right torque. I am coming back out here because it's way too loud in there. To say thank you, I guess, for watching this. It's gonna be the end of this episode. We're not done yet with the engine, as you saw, but we made a lot of progress and we're gonna take it from there next episode. Not so fast. We have one more thing to tell you before we end this episode. As we said in the last episode, we brought the body into the paint booth. I've been there last week for the first look and it just blew my mind. It's gonna look so amazing. You will finally see it in the next episode. So stay tuned for this milestone. Thank you for watching and enjoy. Stay safe out there and see you next time.